Welcome to the Authentic You podcast. You can find us on Instagram at authentic_you_podcast. Obviously, we will also post out the link to the YouTube channel. And this week, we'll be starting the Spotify, so that'll be nice. So people will be able to find us on both those outlets. And today, we got Curtis Jones with us, a.k.a. Kurt Boogie.
Kurt Boogie.
Curtis, why don't you go ahead and do a little bit of introduction and then also tell people where they can find you, because I always screw that up.
Right. Okay, well, yeah, I'm Kurt Boogie Jones, the founder of Curtis Lee Jones Productions. Been around a long time in entertainment, fashion, film, TV. Also Phoenix Salon Suites, franchisee, and just a all-around LA guy.
Attaboy. And where can people, if they want to get in contact with you, where can they find you?
Kurt Boogie Jones on Facebook, Curtis Lee Jones Productions, or Phoenix Salon Suites on LinkedIn, and then Kurt Boogie Strictly Business 96 on Instagram.
Attaboy. You know what I love about that is the fact that you have so many places that people can contact you, and it just shows at the end of the day how well-rounded you are with with like entertainment, business, connections, relationships, which is obviously why we have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
You're an interesting motherfucker.
Well, wait. You can hit me with the whistle in the hood.
Oh, shit.
Hit me with that whistle and I'll pop my head out. Thank you.
You know, it's funny, man, because you and I have known each other for 20 years.
Yeah,
no,
close to. I'd say, I got with parking in 05. We met probably 07.
Okay, 06, so maybe not quite 20.
No, but a long time, though.
Yeah.
I remember you were a whole different dude.
Well, I thought about it. When I said it, because I was like, wait, I'm 35 right now, and I was at least 16, 17 around that time when we met, which is a trip sometimes when I tell people. I'm like, I've been in some of these industries for like 20 years,
man.
I always it seems like I'm rounding up at this point. I'm getting that old that I just round up to the nearest 10. It's getting bad, man.
You're pushing 40, right?
35, man. Come on, this is great.
40, yeah. 35. Now that's a good age, though. I met you. I was around 35, 36. Yeah. I'm 54.
Yeah. And I guess what's cool about our story in general and your story, which I really love, because I think at the end of the day, it shows your story ultimately shows a lot of trial and tribulations, a lot of hard work, because when we met, you had actually had to take steps back. You were in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
You had to take steps back to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then that's when we met. And then to triumph, you got through that hard period of time, which a lot of people had a hard period of time during 2008, 2010 crash. So then you got through that and then went back right into entertainment. And you and I have stayed connected through years, worked with each other on projects. And so let's talk about what you're working on right now. What's going on today?
Well, right now, today, I'm a franchisee with Phoenix Salon Suites, and, working with their entertainment company, which is Priest James Entertainment, as well as having my own production company, Curtis Lee Jones Productions. So I think I'll probably start there, and at the end of this month, we'll be going into pre-production on a baseball film called Step Up to the Plate. Right. So it's already funded, so they ain't got to scramble and like beg for money and stuff like years past. But it's a across the pond production company over in London, and we're talking to potential directors now. It's a 90s film, like mid-90s baseball film. So it's going to be good and interesting. We've already got some baseball guys, like my guy Tony Todd from Santa Monica. He was in Little Big Leagues back in the day, kind of like stole an audition and got a shot on that film, so he's coming on board. I got my buddy Malik Youssef, who's doing the soundtrack and music score, music placement. He's got 8 Grammys, couple Emmys. He's a guy who's known to be Kanye West's right-hand man. Mm-hmm. We met in fashion, and I didn't know till last year that he was, co-wrote, produced all of the lights with Rihanna and Kanye.
Wow.
Did Slow Jams with Jamie Foxx, and then Gold Digger, with Kanye. And that's just to name a couple tracks, but 8 Grammys. So we're working together on this film. I'm a producer on under Curtis Lee Jones Productions. So that's like really big right now. Talking to a couple of names, to bring them on, and then the salon. The salon is doing good. We acquired a salon in March of last year with a great business partner, and right now we had to remodel it, turn it around, get it up to speed. So right now we're at about 50%, and the culture's changed, with the location and moving forward. Just rented a couple of suites the other day.
Nice.
I mean, so like right now, that's right in front of me, as well as my daughter Naomi. Her name Michelle Brand. She's doing a collaboration deal with a company called Streets is Watching out of New York, where she did probably 17, 18 designs of custom art, where they're going to be placed on backpacks, T-shirts, hoodies, and hats. So that's going to be launching for spring. So we'll be at the Magic Show in Vegas in February, for a spring showing of her brand. It'll be in DTLR, Zoomies, Journeys. It'll be carried in a lot of the retailers that the teenagers or young people like right now.
God, that's amazing. Because I remember last year, like very specifically, her going to that show and doing a few things.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like almost every time I talk to you, and this has been like our friendship for like, like I said, 17 years.
Yeah.
Like there's always been something that you're working on. And what I love about it is two things. One, for your daughter specifically, it showed her probably that you have to stay consistent. You have to put in the work. You have to invest the time consistently. And she's been doing that. She learned that from you.
Yeah.
And then it also shows the value of relationships that are built over time.
Man.
Because the reality is 17 plus years, I've seen you create these relationships, and almost every single time I saw you create a relationship, and I've modeled this, you've taught me this, is do things for other people without the intention of having them do something back for you. But now here it is. It's your time, right? Man. 17 plus years, more for you, obviously. But just since I've known you 17 plus years, I've seen you connect. You're the guy that knows a guy. Yeah. And like we're constantly connecting people and bridging the gaps and watching those people succeed as a result of it. And so it's nice to see for 2024 is developing into a really Curtis Jones year.
Yeah. I'm really proud of that. My wife with her thing, in beauty, switching from, hospital business or, at the hospital to stay at home mom, and to decide to go to beauty school, to kind of go alongside with us owning a salon suite and, looking to get another. So definitely, man, something to be proud of. And I'm strictly focusing on, me, my family, and what I got ahead of me. And like you said, I'm connecting and doing things for a lot of people, but this year is dedicated to using all my relationships that I've built for, some 30 years, and even more specifically for what I need, my family, for my bank account. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about this year. That's why I'm here.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, and I think obviously this is episode 2 of this version of the podcast, and it evolved, right? I tested it out through Zoom and just got a feel for how I was feeling about it. We had done a full podcast and it was great, but just wasn't really a representation of obviously the people that I was bringing on. And you've got a great story. I'm like, this needs to be produced a lot better quality and get it out there. Yeah, here we are.
I see the lights and the cameras. You know what I mean? I was like, it was a little dark the last one, but congratulations, Joe.
No, thank you, man. But it is about bringing these like authentic conversations to people, and you're one of those guys that you really run through life in so many different ways and never asked anybody for a damn thing.
Man.
A damn thing.
Well, this year I'm asking.
Yeah. Hey, pick it up. All right. You guys need to return the favors.
Man, come on, guys.
But no, it's that's how it should work. I mean, and look, I mean, I think people who know you and have known you and talked to you for a long time have realized that you're very selfless in the way that you do things.
Man.
And so, look, you're 54 years old. But as a result of that, you know, you still got plenty of time on the clock. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Oh no, yeah. It's definitely game time, and it's a trip. How you say it? You know, I'm 54. Because as you know, I'll quit a job to pursue my dream. You
Oh
you
yeah.
know that,
Yep.
right? You
Yep.
know, I quit my first job, well, first real good job at actually on my 27th birthday that same week. I walked away from the supermarket union job, and we may have talked about it in the first version, but like I walked away, man, and people thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And went to Soul Train and ate cold chicken and danced on the
And
weekends. You know what I mean?
made relationships.
Yeah, and built relationships. So definitely, man, to keep tracking with it. Yeah, it's I was 27.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And had a big old party under the Beverly Center at a
Mm.
club called Tempest, and watched like things move, man. And I was like, that's when I kind of knew, like, shit, I'm built for this.
Yeah, well, I think it's a trip for a lot of people, and you know, I've obviously experienced a lot very early in my life. I feel like I've accomplished a lot by 35,
Man.
but what makes me like get more excited about the years to come is
Mm,
like realizing like the more I talk to people, you know, whether they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is, I mean, there's a lot of different stages to life, you know, and you think about in your early 20s, you were like, it's okay to restart, and then you get to your
man.
mid 30s, and it's like it's okay to
Restart.
restart,
Yeah.
and I think what's not okay is just accepting where you're at if you're not happy, and so it really is about like you know what I'm gonna keep pursuing what like if you have the vision, if you can see it,
See, man.
go for it. Why not?
You know, people thought I was nuts leaving a pretty good salary because, the first time I left Town Park in 2013, it was the first time in my life, man, that I had a salary that
Yeah.
like I made more money than my parents did, when they were, coming up and I was climbing and, turning around properties and working and just being on that drive, moving
Yeah.
cars and dealing with people. It was like to leave it, people were like, dude, you're a rock star, Kurt Boogie,
Yeah.
man. Come on. You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, but that's not what I want to do. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what?
And
I
dude,
I remember standing in an alley and talking to you
mm,
about me leaving Laz
mm.
and saying, "Look, I mean, I had an executive position, you know,
Yeah,
good position,
yeah,
6-figure plus, good bonus structure, like, you know, I was
mm,
happy and
mm,
had a lot of people working for me and under me and like I was comfy and I could
yeah,
have honestly probably done that for another like 10, 15 years, whatever.
man,
But then I just had a bigger vision. I knew if I wanted to be the guy, I'd have to take the leap, and I
yeah,
believed in myself enough. And I remember you and I having
yeah,
this conversation,
yeah,
and you literally told me, you're like, Joe Caputo, you could always go back. Just go. Just do it.
yeah, bro. Dude, I came back a couple times, man. When I left in 2013, I went and did some stuff and left to do Phoenix in 2013. Ended up by 2016, going back, and I think that's when you hired me. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And then I stayed for a while. Then I said, "Yo, Joe, I gotta go again."
Dude, that was the best though. I can't tell you, you know what's funny about that is I remember like we were working together and you're running the properties and then you literally told me like, "Hey, I'm working on this book deal. Like
Yeah,
dude, like it might take off."
yeah,
And
yeah,
then I remember us going to grab coffee and you're like, "Dude, it landed."
yeah.
Like I got the like
Black Hollywood,
Black
Black
Hollywood.
Hollywood lost photos.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah,
then you're from there, it's like, dude, you got to put that in the rearview mirror and you've got to pursue your
dude,
dreams.
I was at the Mr. C Hotel around
Mhm.
that time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, and then ended up going to New York, hanging out with Keenan on SNL, and
Yep.
went to go tour the Google offices in New York with this little paperback book with all these old classic photos.
Yep.
And dude, to do the Grammys with, go and do a co-deal with Phoenix Salon Suites and have the biggest suite at the Grammys with all the celebs coming by checking out our book, checking out the By Gina products. And I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, and but you know what's funny about that is like I also love the fact that and I think it's a good lesson for people because we stayed friends through all of that.
Oh
And
yeah.
we were professionals about it.
Hmm.
And it was kind of like look, my friend needed my friend, but also you're a business professional.
Yeah.
So it was a a win-win where it was like, hey,
yeah,
for this period of time, you're going to help me
yeah,
and run this property.
yeah,
And then win for you, it got you through where you needed. You got
yeah,
that book deal. Now, who am I? What kind of
man,
fucking person would I be
yeah,
if I was mad at you for succeeding in something outside of what
man,
I needed?
man.
People should be selfless like that.
Yeah, you know, and it was a trip because that 2016 got through 20 by the end of 2017, man. I've been to Korea twice.
Mhm.
You know, that one book deal morphed into the Black Hollywood Film Fund, where then we put money into the Sprinter film with Overbrook, Will Smith's company, then put money into Hold On with
Yep.
Ozzy Aru, those guys, Louis Guzman, Flavor Flav, who I gotta tell you this Flavor Flav story
I'm
and
good.
keep me tracking, right? This past Christmas, man, I'm at my in-laws' house in Vegas, and you know, my daughter has this little present, this little box present, right? And I had just text Flavor Flav earlier, Merry Christmas, bro, blah, blah, blah. And he responded, right? But between the time he responded, my daughter had this little gift in my, and she
Oh,
gave me this gift that's in
you
my
left him
hand.
unread?
No, no, watch this, watch this. Dude, no, no, no. I opened the gift and it was one of them little dolls that are popular now
Hmm.
with the
Oh,
celebrities that,
yep.
and it was Flavor
Oh,
Flav.
that's awesome.
Dude, I text Flav was like, dude, I literally just got you for Christmas. Like, and it was crazy. But yeah, now we were at going to Korea twice
Mhm.
and you know, and it going big, man, and morphing from the book to a film company to producing two films that came out. One even went theatrical 600 screens, and that was the Hold On film. And the crazy thing is, I was working with Laz,
Yeah.
running
Wow.
Wild Watch, working with Laz, and I was at the Las Palmas Sunset Studio, Sunset Las Palmas, and I got switched up or something, and I was working over at the Grove where we had the premiere. Okay, so watch. So I'm at the Grove, and this one of the girls that work with us, she was like, you know, she was like, "Hey, wait, did you have a movie premiere here with Louis Guzman?" I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah," and they were, I knew it. I saw you and your wife or whatever coming. You guys parked, and they looked like, well, why are you working here? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was wild.
It's a trip because I think that situation in LA in general, like there's so many times that you cross paths and like
Mm,
kind of cross pollinate with a lot of
yeah.
different people. But like, yeah, it is funny because like obviously I've done some stuff as well, like in film or whatever
Hmm.
behind the scenes. And it's
Hmm.
funny because like you run into people and then they're just all of a sudden like tripping out. They're like, wait a minute, like how many things? But I think it's a product of you just wanting to be a business professional in so many different
Man,
settings,
yeah, yeah,
right? And it's like
yeah.
you can have your day job, you can have your side job, you can have your side hustle, you can
Hmm.
have your side hustle go big, and then you can have it all. You can have it
Yeah,
all.
why
It's all
not?
time management. You know, who says that you have to work a 9 to 5 and that's that? You know what I mean?
You know, it's a trip. You know, because my daughter, you know, Naomi, Nay Michelle, she's doing these shoes, but guess where she works? She works at the LAX Marriott.
Yeah.
You know, she's a valet and she works PBX and she works with and for a lot of our peers now. You know what I mean? And I tell her all the time, I'm like, take advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I go, when this clothing stuff takes off for you this year and it's going to take off, don't quit your job.
Yeah.
I told her, don't quit your job. Take a professional leave of absence and keep your position. You know what I mean? And if it takes off and blows up, great, right? But if it doesn't, you could always make that phone call and say, hey, you know,
Yeah.
Curtis Buchanan, can I get my job back? And he'll
Yeah.
say yes. You know?
Well, and I also remember like you and I working on several different projects.
Yeah.
Some in the you know the fund that we were putting together. Some in the Ghost Box
Yeah, yeah,
and look. And sometimes projects don't work out, but
yeah, yeah.
the at the end of the day, oh, you still got the Ghost Box?
Come
It's
on,
there.
man.
Come
Come
on.
on, man. Come on.
I like how you just lifted your shirt for a second. I got a little nervous. I thought I might see a nipple or two.
Hey, no, I used to have a nipple ring. And I would
Yeah.
do that shit. But go ahead.
But what's interesting about it is I think like I think that's the thing is you gotta take 1,000 shots. because it just takes that one. It just takes that one, and at the end of the day, I can literally look at you and remember several different projects that you've worked on that I've seen, start to take off, and
Yeah.
then they fell
Fizzle.
off, and
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
But you never stopped.
No, no,
And I think that's like the trick to life, man.
it
You
is.
just can't stop. It's
You know, like I see, I run into friends, and I see them because I'm immersed into the West Side. I'm Santa Monica, Venice, Culver City, and I got some successful friends and a lot of friends that I wouldn't say aren't successful, but they're just not living out their dreams that I know they
they're
wanted
content.
to, and they're content, and they're gonna stay. And I'm I will the only time that I will be content is when I feel I reached that space to where I want to be,
Yeah.
and that's a and I- and I say it, and I say it, and I'm not afraid to say it, but billionaire, multi-billionaire, like why couldn't I be, with the story of just me, and just we won't go into politics or what happened 400 or 500 years ago. That's it's relevant,
Mhm.
but that's not that's not going to hold me back from getting to where I feel I need to get to, and even if it's developing all these businesses with my family, and I got one salon now, and then I'll have 50 one day, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or you know my production company with this new film, and then I'm 50 films down the line, so my kids will see that
Residuals.
billionaire
Yeah.
status, and then they're learning how to maintain it now. They're learning how to develop that drive and that knack now. I got all girls, so it's like, you can't, you have your son, you can elbow him, toughen
Mhm.
up a little bit. So my situation, I have to do it a little differently.
Yeah.
I have to strategically set them up to be tough, and I think that's what I'm doing. And but again, I won't be content until I, make a few $1 billion. Not playing basketball, not selling drugs, not what I mean, not robbing people or doing bad shit. You know what I mean? But like really working hard and getting to that point.
You know what I love about you saying that in general too? Like obviously there's such a small portion of people that get to that like
Mm,
thing, but if more people had that mentality, I
man,
think more people would actually overall achieve it.
yeah,
And I think it's so rarely hit because so rare do people actually believe they can do it.
man,
And at the end of the day, I think it's in that whole visionary standpoint of like envisioning yourself in that okay, my goal is to hit a billion or
hmm
whatever it
hmm
is, and I'm going to just by wanting that, everything that I do is going to help me get closer to that
yeah,
goal.
yeah.
And then what's even more beautiful about it is the fact that you obviously have girls and
Mm,
you're like, I'm still going to teach them the way. So
yeah.
overall, what's going to happen is your mentality and fundamentals that make it your drive are going to be passed down to them. And they're going to already, now they're going to start 2, 3 steps ahead of where you started.
Oh, bro.
And then their kids, your grandkids, are going to start 2, 3 steps ahead of where they started. So they're 6 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Someone in the fucking family tree is going to ring that bell.
Boom, bing, bing, bing. Like, and that's really what it is, man. Like I'm real passionate about it, dude. Like I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I tell you, I'm smart enough to know that if I want to achieve that level of success, I have to think about it, dream about it every day. I just really envision myself, but then surround myself with people who already have that or further along the way than I am. You know what I mean? Like I can say that I know a billionaire guy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like no one, no couple. You know what I'm saying? And they're not someone I'm gonna go and ask for money, or I'm gonna go ahead. No, I'm gonna say, man, how did you do that? What did you?
Yeah, you're going to
How
learn.
you know what I mean? I'm gonna watch them, and I'm gonna be like, there's this guy, um, Zal, damn, what's his name? Septimo Cigars, right? Billionaire dude, opened up a cigar lounge on like Hollywood Boulevard and Western. Went to the opening, and it was just like to sit and talk to this guy, Zal, and I got it. I'll get it. But to sit and talk with this guy, right? meet his son. This guy's a bona fide billionaire, bro.
Yeah.
Bona fide, like straight out liquid. And just to have conversations with him and be in the same room with his friends,
Yeah.
and to meet a couple of different people and I've started developing a relationship with them last year. You know what I mean? Through my buddy, Terry Clark at Debonair Cigar Lounge over on Edgewood and La Brea. I met through that circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And just to continue to develop with these guys, man, it's amazing. That one night, I just learned so much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you listen, you can see, and it's not arrogance. When you meet a billionaire, when you meet some of these people, it's just confident as hell because they
Yeah.
did it. You know what I mean? And they're humble enough to say, "Here,
Mm-hmm.
try my brandy with my cigar. Meet my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Go sit over here. Have whatever you want." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And to see the watch and the shoes and the man, it's incredible, dude.
Yeah, I think what's crazy is I now I'm starting to really understand this myself in business. Um, everyone is connected by less than probably 2, 3 people.
Man.
And it's nuts. It is absolutely nuts when you start realizing that. Through Julie and I's health clinic, one of the guys that is now works with us or as a patient, however you want to say it, not to violate anything. He's a business owner, and he's got a construction company, and he's got a water company, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And he literally goes, "Hey, what are you doing next Tuesday?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really have that planned yet.
Yeah.
What do you got going on?" "There's a CEO roundtable that we do." I'm like, "What is that?" He's like, "We get together, we just talk, a bunch of CEOs, a bunch of people. What do you guys talk about? What do you think?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. The more you start to really talk to different people, like everyone has some. You can learn something from everybody.
You just sparked something, right? That CEO roundtable, that could be a bunch of different roundtables.
Yeah.
I mean, just like my buddy Ron Lee over at Extra, Ron Lee Forso, he's one of the guys that I work closely with. He's producing the Burn Factory podcast and stuff. And like we talk all the time, but it'd be cool to get together, a round table of guys like
Yep.
yourself, my boy Ron Lee, maybe Jason Rivera from Phoenix,
Yeah, I like Jason.
maybe a couple other guys, just once a month, just talk about everything everybody's doing.
We could set this room up as a round table and do it live, Mike, if we want to,
Wow.
or we could do it privately, obviously.
Well, I drove an hour and a half because it's you, man.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? But
I know I might have to come out of pocket for some gas at some point with some of these guests. You know what I mean?
No, you don't have to do that, man.
Not with you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
eventually,
Yeah, no.
gotta pay to play.
Grow. Yeah. And I tell you, I can see this podcast, man, grow on leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I love it because obviously you were telling when I was kind of starting mine and trying jerry rig it. You were starting off the Burn Factory, and that's really grown. And I mean, I've watched some. First of all, those guys are really entertaining, and at the end of the day, like I also love their energy and their like the whole purpose behind it. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, man. They're like 30 episodes in, man. We coordinated a deal with Fox Sports and iHeartRadio last year. Dude, so Priest and his whole story of what happened to him, being involved with the family, the brands that they have and all that, I kind of experienced that with him. You know what I mean? So when it happened, it was like devastating. And, so Jason, I remember he like, man, call some of your buddies. I called Keenan Thompson, man. He did a video and they called a few other people, man, and sent it over to Priest. And, we still had, and I'll never forget, we still had to do this convention, the concert convention.
Yes.
You've been to one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So this one was huge because we had Flow Rider and it was just getting bigger.
Appreciate the invite, by the way. It was fun.
No, but watch. Priest came out there in bandage.
Yep.
He still had his Band-Aids on, dude. Like, to see this kid come on stage partying with Flow Rider, man, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I commend him, and Phoenix, like, Phoenix is, namesake of the Phoenix brand and just like a great
Hosted
kid.
it.
Yeah, he hosted it, and they're going to be hosting again. This year coming up because it's coming back. And but what I could say about Phoenix and Priest and the Burn Factory podcast, with my involvement, I helped and contributed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, um, but it's really about them. You know what I mean? And their talents and them opening up and Priest going through an adversity in his life and coming up with this, 50-50 chance of survival and just to be a kid dude, at school to get injured like he did to come through that, and tag burn moments for major UFC fighters, major celebs, you know, um, man, it's incredible, and it's still the beginning.
Yeah.
They're going into the second year, man, and they're forged this relationship with the UFC. You know what I mean? And they come from a training family. Jason was an Olympic judo trained at the Olympic facility in Colorado. So they've always been grappling and
Good.
fighting and judo and stuff. But to see them, develop this podcast, you know what I mean, and forge the relationships and grow the relationships, it's amazing, dude. It's gonna be big, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously they signed on with iHeartRadio and 30 episodes in and
yeah,
1 year is
yeah,
nothing to balk at, you know.
man,
I my goal is to do one every other week, so that'll get me
right.
about 24 to
Yeah,
26 in the year. So I mean, dude, I get it. That's a busy it's a
Man,
busy
no, it's
schedule with
busy.
everything else that's going on, you know.
Definitely, definitely. But with them, watching them grow into men and develop their talent, man, is awesome.
Yeah,
And
because you've known them for a long time,
yeah, yeah,
a whole family.
11 years.
Yeah.
11 years, man. And I tell you, I look forward to the next 10, and beyond. You know what I mean? So it's they're gonna do very, very well.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming down the pipeline.
Good. Well, I also love the fact that you had worked with them for so long and you had helped open so many salon suites yourself
Yeah,
for
yeah.
other owners.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then, to end up creating a fund and then get partners. And then for you to actually go and be a franchise owner, like it's
Yeah.
really cool, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I remember us going around looking at suites
Yeah,
and looking at
yeah,
ones we wanted
yeah.
to purchase here
Yeah,
locally
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
And for you to finally, kind of, I don't want to say close out that journey,
Yeah.
but the reality is chase is half the battle.
Yeah.
And a lot of people give up in the chase, but you kept pressing through
Yeah.
and man, you fucking delivered.
Man, too bad my business partner on that project doesn't want any publicity at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll respect that.
Yep.
But dude, my business partner's a beast. Bro, like straight up. Like
Yeah.
I can't even elaborate,
Yeah.
exactly on who she is, but
Yep.
dude, without her, you know what I mean? Man.
Wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have because she believed in the brand that I've built alongside of the Phoenix brand, and just really wrote that check.
Yeah.
And it was an expensive check.
Yeah, of
And
course.
she spent more money than what she committed to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But we got a great partnership. You know what I mean? And it's growing, and I'll never mess up on my taxes or the money or you know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
the profits are rolling in, I know that it's all protected and I've learned so much,
Yeah.
and I think that lesson, you know, is prepared me for 50, 100 plus locations with this brand and potentially others.
Yeah. And I mean, I will tell you as a franchisee owner too, it is
Yeah,
it is
and
tough.
congratulations.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
it takes it does there is a lesson learned in there because you have your own ideas as an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
what you want to accomplish, what you want to do, and then there's guardrails that are put up.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that have to, and you know what? Good for those people who create a brand that then they franchise out because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
at the end of the day, they're giving you, a really good foundation to build
Man.
off of, and then you as the entrepreneur are going to kind of build within it. And
Oh
then
yeah.
what's cool is for franchise owners, ultimately, you know, you have a lot of support, and then but then you could have influence, and then the ultimate brand might pick up on the things that you're doing and go,
Yeah.
whoa, wait a
Whoa,
minute,
wait. Yeah.
this should actually be a standard
Yeah.
across the board,
Exactly.
and then it gets you future exposure for other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will say personally, that's probably my next step is
Right.
to
Right.
create a brand that then I can
Yeah.
franchise
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But this was the next evolution, in the
Mm-hmm.
process, right? First,
Mm-hmm.
work for a business, learn how to run a business, then learn how to open
Yeah.
businesses,
Yeah. Yeah.
then save up money,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
fund it yourself,
Yeah.
then buy a franchise, learn how to open that, then create your own type of brand. I mean, it's a step by step by step by step
You know,
process.
it really is, man. And you know, with me, I remember when it clicked because we were working on the Phoenix thing together. Then you had to go do your thing with parking and whatever else, which is, man, the bomb. But we're still here, right?
Yeah.
But I came to a realization. I said, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
Like, and I blocked everything else out.
Yeah.
And I went on a stretch and bam, you know what I mean? And it clicked, it hit. And now I'm like, okay, so now I learned something in, my 30 years of running around is, okay, I can have 10 or 12 different things, but I need to
Mm.
block out
Yep.
on each one, close it, and then move to the next one.
You know what sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
no, no. What? Close it and move to the next one, right?
Yep.
So I've closed the Phoenix one. I've closed Curtis Lee Jones Productions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've closed Nay Michelle brand. I'm in the process of closing my wife's brand. And at the time, my wife developed a brand for my daughter, Natalie, Natty by Nature, essential oils, blah, like, dude, it's so I got the formula now,
Yep.
right? So right now, dude, it's like bam, bam, bam. 2024 is about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love that.
Dude, no, it's crazy because all I'm gonna do is keep repeating the process,
Yeah.
right? And by the end of the podcast, I'm gonna let you know about something else I got going on right now that's closing this month.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
I feel like I'm about to pull out my checkbook.
yeah, no, bananas. No, dude. The cool part about it is, dude, it's bananas. And you know what? Since I'm talking about it, I'm I'm gonna go right into it. So Curtis Lee Jones Productions LLC has developed a youth program,
For
right?
you.
Listen, watch this. Crazy, but it's something I've always wanted to do, right? So my production company is going to be teaching at-risk youth ages 16 to 24 film, TV, camera, grip, marketing, branding, film, TV, anything film or television, right? And I have the resources. So my buddy who I mentioned earlier, Malik Youssef, who's known for putting Kanye on, like
Yeah.
known for getting him there, is a part of that program. You know what I'm saying? I got a few other people a part of that program. And it's launching end of this month. Well, it's already launched. I've
Yeah.
already submitted everything, and
It's just gotta go live.
I'm not gonna elaborate on, but I love my government. You know what I mean, and not Democrat or Republican. I'm cool, like, but the federal government works if you're willing to put in the work,
Mhm.
cross the T's and dot all the I's. The government will fund you.
Yep.
That's all I can talk about right now, but the program is coming. It's going to be started in West LA, where I'm from. So I'm going to get with county probation and figure that stuff out. And I'm probably going to get with LA Unified and run a program through LA Unified, and dude, give these kids the opportunity to learn how to shoot a commercial, produce a film, You know what I mean? Do shoot a music video.
Yep.
You know, but they're gonna be working hands on with like pros, like my buddy Sergio Gutierrez Ponce. He's been a grip and camera guy 35 years. We went to high school together. He teaches LA Unified teachers how to teach film and and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and he's my buddy. He's already committed. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, so I'm gonna bring him in. He's with the local 80. You know what I mean? Grips Union, and he's gonna take time out of his busy schedule to make sure that 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 kids get to really learn step by step how to set up a film shoot, how to shoot a film shoot, how to break down a film shoot, how to edit a film, how to edit everything that they've shot. You know what I mean? So it's gonna give these kids, man, that would have probably never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned it in our first go around, but I was in juvenile camp twice, once at 13, once at 16, and was locked up. And man, someone gave me an opportunity or believed in me, and so I can see this program in the same county probation system that I came up through teach a lot of these kids, man, how to make money and do business and give them the stuff they need to when they if they do want to go to film school, they already got gems. They're
Yeah.
gonna go to film school and ace it because they worked from A to Z on a project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's it's so crazy to like think about this too because you're hitting so many things that are going to be important for these kids. Like one, you're taking them away from maybe other activities that they shouldn't be doing. Two, you're focusing specifically in an area that, I mean, the reality is unfortunately LA County is most of it is a huge poverty center and it's
Yeah.
underdeveloped and
Yep.
privileged. And but then you're putting them into what is honestly probably the number one revenue producing industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you look at everything. I mean, look at what we're doing here with all this production right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everyone is on their phone. Everyone. I mean, you got it all across the board from content, video games, phones, TV, movies. Like it's just constant, constant, constant. So they're going to have such a huge opportunity to advance their lives just as a result of all of that. And you're right. It is funded by our government. I'm a proud taxpayer. Unfortunately, last year was a huge year for taxes for me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, it's good to know that it finally goes to good causes like that.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I think success is being able. Yeah, success is being able to share my relationships with some of these with a lot of people with a lot of these kids, man, who I want to get kids out of the business of idolizing the industry or celebs or you know what I mean, and get them into idolizing to
Yeah, they're
looking
seeing
at
one.
themselves. Yeah,
Yeah, they're seeing one piece of the pie, which is the person who's the celebrity in front of the camera, and they're not seeing the 99.9% of everyone else. And what's funny is, I mean, and I know you've got some very close director friends, and you look at how much. Not to say everything's about money, but at the end of the day, you do look at what some celebrities make versus what some people behind the scenes make who are producing all of it, and it is like
it's
9 to 1. Yeah,
no, it's night and day. And I want to shout out Taraji P Henson recently for talking about her thing with the color purple, right? And working with Fantasia and then the other girl, she fought for them to get the right deal. You know what I mean? She's like Taraji P, and this is from her. It's all over the press. Like she fired her entire team after the her series. Oh God, now I'm drawing a brain fart. Her series Empire.
Yep.
So her character, everything was on point. It was so big. And then after the show was done, there was nothing.
Mm.
Her team didn't have any endorsements for her. No, she was wearing the hottest fashion. No deals. No, no
Yeah, they
merch
got
deals. No other movies. Did we get a spinoff? Did we get anything? Everybody was everybody on her team was so caught up in the moment that they forgot to capitalize. And she lost so much money. She's just like so many opportunities. She fired everybody.
yeah.
You know what
No.
I mean? Like that. But I shout her out. I shout Taraji out, and like, man, try somebody new. Curtis Lee Jones Productions. I'll get you
Love
that
it.
endorsement deal.
Love it. I love
And
that.
nothing against all the other. There's a lot of people that know her, but dude, if I had the opportunity to work with Taraji P Henson, dude, I would take her global now.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, with merch, everything. Why wouldn't I? Mean, it's crazy. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do want to kind of go back for a second
Yeah.
because we were talking about you and I actually having and being business partners on something, and I did bail out early in a process. And
Yeah.
and what's funny is we talked about this, like we
Mm.
might as well see it through, and
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you need to invest time on things that are going to develop for you. And
Yeah.
so what's kind of interesting about this is I'm thinking about it, the timeline of this. And I remember us having that conversation, right, where we were working on all the JFC
Yeah.
fund.
JC, yeah.
Yes, JCF.
Yeah.
Okay.
JC, yeah.
We were working on that fund. And at the same time, I was trying to work on something else that was also putting together. So, and I got stuck in that situation
Yeah.
where I was like, shoot, I have only so much time in the day. And I need to decide which one. And I'd already made this one before I made this one. So I
Yeah.
was like, you and I had a very professional
Yeah.
but friendly conversation.
Man, come
I was
on.
just like, hey, like, this is what's going to have to happen. But then you went and did the same thing right after, which was great.
Yeah.
Because then you had to look and go, well, shoot, Joe's got to focus on this.
Yeah.
Well, I got 5 baskets
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I need to focus on this. And so I think that's an important point because both of us had to do that.
Yeah, man.
And there was a friendly and professional way that we did it. So there's nothing wrong with working with your friends, investing in your friends, or investing on something together, but also getting to a point where you go, am I truly invested in this? And if you're not, you got to step back. Now, I wasn't invested in it passionately.
Right,
and I remember you and I had that conversation. I was like, look, I'm pretty much only in this for the end goal, which is it makes a bunch of money and then I'm happy with money.
Yeah.
And on my podcast 2 weeks ago, I actually talked about that too, where I was like, I had to realize like, it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's really about what are you passionate about? Because then if you're passionate about it, you're going to work. It doesn't feel like work. And then you're going to see it through and then you're going to get the end result, which might be monetary, you know? So it's nice to see that like, as a result of that, both of us actually ended up in a situation where the project I selected ended up getting funded, ended up getting paid out. I then moved that money into Game Day and that franchise. And then you ended up finishing your project. You then took the Phoenix, the project that you worked there, and now you rolled it into your production company. It's just, I don't know, man. It's something special about that.
It's good because man, I was so happy to see you complete that Game Day deal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of them guys, oh man, you should have. No, dude, because it's like, how can I ask somebody to put all into me, right? When they have something that they can.
Yeah.
Why? We'll get back to that. Like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's for me, man. I was like, damn. I was like, that's right. You know what I mean? Because I've told you before, dude. You're a bad motherfucker, man. Like I wish at 35, at 35 in 2005, that's when I went to work for Mile High.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And start parking cars, man. You know what I mean? And after running around Hollywood for a long time, you know what I'm saying? So, dude, for you to be doing what you're doing now, I can't wait to talk to 54-year-old Joe Caputo. Dude, what?
Me too.
Are you kidding me?
You know what's, dude, you know what's a trip?
Wait. No. Let me say this. I cannot wait to talk to 54-year-old Joe Caputo. billionaire.
Oof.
Whoa, dude! If you don't see it, dude, I'm. But go ahead.
Well, no, I definitely have a big vision. I think I've learned that and surrounded myself by guys like you who have big
Man.
visions. And
Mm,
I'm lucky or blessed or given an opportunity from God for whatever
mm,
reason to be surrounded by and be humbled by people who are more
mm.
intelligent and have more life
Man.
experience. And I'm lucky that it rubs off on me, right? And so I remember being 18 years old and telling people I wanted to be a millionaire, a self-made millionaire, just a
Mm,
millionaire.
mm,
And back then, I mean, you say self-made millionaire
yeah,
now, like some people are like, well, whatever.
yeah.
But you know what? It's very rare that people do it,
No, it is.
So at least liquid, right?
Yeah.
But I remember telling people, I'm like, I'm going to do that. And not only that, like I'm going to do it before I'm 40. And not only that, but I would consistently talk about what my life looks like when I'm 40 years old. I'm
Man.
not even 40 yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think maybe it's part of manifesting, maybe it's part of believing in myself, maybe
Mhm.
it's, just wanting to prove fucking people wrong. But something about that 18-year-old version of me having that big dream made the 20-year-old version of me have a big dream.
Yeah.
And then the 25-year-old version of me have that dream. And it just continues. And you're right. Like right now, I consistently
Mm.
talk about being 45, 55,
Man.
65. And I think it's just part of how I've built myself, but it's a product of the people I've surrounded myself with.
Yeah. I tell you, Joe, man, like I'm so glad that, we are friends and that we, because I watched you in Tennessee,
Mm.
right? I remember,
Opry.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the Opry at Opryland,
Yeah.
right? I watched you get an award. I forgot you did something crazy. You're the youngest, but when I watched the room, and I think I may have told you that I watched the room, and the whole room wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're a young
Yep.
boy, big guy, Joe. What the fuck? Who the fuck is this Joe Caputo guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, yo, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to know that guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I never forget. I was like, fucking Joe.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And here we are, dude. Like, dude.
Dude, I appreciate that
Yeah.
because and I actually try to do the same thing.
Mm,
People get very intimidated by winners.
man, yeah,
And it's mostly because they're intimidated because they're not that person and or they don't have the qualities to be that person. But the crazy thing is you can learn it and you can become that
yeah.
person, but you have to do what you did. You have to go, I don't possess that quality. That person possesses that quality.
Hmm.
I'm going to go talk to that person.
Yep.
I'm going to try to learn how that is. How did they develop that skill? What could I do to develop that skill?
Yep.
And then shit, maybe I'm going to be that person someday and someone's going to have that same, learning lesson from me.
Yeah.
But people are afraid to do that.
Dude, it's crazy because this brings me up, and I mentioned Curtis Buchanan earlier,
Yeah,
right?
I remember.
Okay, so no, it's a trip because when I got my first account in 2011, it was a hotel in Santa Monica, and they sent over a task force. Like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm.
When Bobby gave me that account, I'm like, shit, go do this shit, man. So
Fake it till you make it.
yeah, hell yeah. And so, I met Curtis, and Curtis, articulate brother, light skinned, well, professional. He was with the company longer than I had been. And I started to get to know him. I was like, hey, you know this right here?
Yeah.
I was like, hold up, wait. I'm gonna steal this guy. He's gonna teach me this stuff, right? And we made a deal in Santa Monica in 2011. I said, dude, if you help me run this account, I'll help you become an account manager.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, and he helped me run that account. We ended up giving the account back, and they sent me to the Sheraton Universal Hotel. I thought I was going to get canned and all this other stuff, or not canned, but moved around or whatever. And I took Curtis with me, right? That's 2012. And he helped me run that account, helped keep me on point. I handled the hotel. He helped me with the
Yeah.
paperwork, with everything else. And I said, dude, keep my promise. When I left Town Park in 2013 to pursue Phoenix Salon Suites, they said, Kurt, who's going to? I said, Curtis Buchanan's going to
Yeah,
replace
he's
me.
got it.
And he got it. And so watch now, 2013, now it's 2023, 2024. Dude, I've called him to get my daughter a job because he's now the account manager where I started at the LAX
Yeah.
Marriott. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
and we still talk all the time. I told him don't do no favors for my daughter, man. Teach her what we
Yeah.
developed. Teach her how we, you know what I mean? And he teaches her, and he, you know what I mean. But to go full circle and help a guy, then that guy come around, man, and I make a call and he hires my daughter.
Yeah. You know, the other thing though that you're touching on, I mean, obviously that's a relationship and a respect thing, and we've all done that. I think good leaders do that. They, we did that together as well.
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening, what ends up needing to happen is people need to realize that everyone has a niche. Nobody is well balanced and has everything figured out. And if you do, you got an ego, and that's just not okay. Like everyone, my team and the guys that I work with in every business, like I know there are smarter people than me in the room,
Right.
and it is almost disrespectful to myself
Right.
to not know that.
Right.
And it's my job to figure out and learn from them. Teach me what you know, and or make sure that my team is well-rounded, that there's a person in the room that can do anything that's called to us.
Yep.
And I can't remember what book it was. I think it's Think and Grow Rich, where they talk about the story of Henry Ford, and he was like, he got sued by the newspapers, and they called him up to the stand, and they start asking him all these questions because the newspaper was calling him stupid, and he said, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm not intelligent. Like, put me on the stand. So they put him on the stand, and they're trying to break down his character to basically say he's not intelligent. And they start asking him all these questions, and it's like historical questions and this. And he's like, I don't know. So then they get to the end, and they're like, doesn't seem like you know anything. It does seem like you're kind of stupid, And he's like, well, with one push of a button, I can call someone on my team to answer every single question that you've just asked me. So who's the dumb one in the room?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The person that knows it all or thinks they know it all, or the person that has the resources, you know what I mean, to get the job done by somebody who's part of their team. And I think that's how it is in general.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I mean, I was in the sauna, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, and some guy was like, oh, I just dropped a new track, and, I'm on Spotify, and is it Flex J or J Flex?
J.
Okay,
Flex J.
So I mixed it up, I think, when I introduced you guys, but yeah. So, and I'll tag him on this or send it to him, but same kind of concept, right? I overhear him having a conversation with somebody about his music. And then I go, oh yeah, you're on Spotify? And he's like, yeah, it's a sauna full of people. He just told everyone that he's an artist. Everyone in the room just does this. They're just blank. I'm like, somebody put on his fucking music. So I just go on Spotify, click on his name. I start playing the first track. I was like, which one's your favorite? He's like, dude, all of them are favorite. I was like, oh, so he's passionate. He's one of those guys. Like, I put out good shit. I'm like, okay. Click on the first song. I was like, all right, fuck it. I let it play. Click on the second song. Let it play. I'm like, these are good. Then I ask him, do you have a manager you're working with? No, I haven't got there yet. I'm independent. And say, okay, but are you connected with anyone who can, make sure your stuff gets out there, like this and that? He's like, he's kind of just still in that start stage, maybe. I mean, he's definitely pushing hard.
We spoke.
But this is what I'm saying. Yeah. So I was like, look, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I have a really good friend who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Do you mind if I get your phone number? I'll introduce you. Now, I haven't really talked to this guy that often. We've seen each other at the gym. I don't really even know that much necessarily about him, but we're learning each other. Now we're becoming friends. I was like, just let me connect you. What was the harm in that? Now he's connected to you.
Yeah.
And maybe it turns into something, or maybe he just learns one or two things from you. And then now he's a step further. And then this is the way that it goes. You know what I mean?
That's the way it goes, exactly, man. And he reached out to me, I think, before the new year, and I just told him, I said, yeah, we'll get together, and I'm doing some stuff right now, but I got you. I'll make some introductions because it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt me to call Malik Youssef, say, yo, Malik, check this guy out. What do you think?
Yeah.
He needs to develop. He needs this. He needs that. Okay, well,
give him the feedback.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing? The worst thing he's going to get is feedback. The best thing he's going to get is recognition.
Yeah. But I tell you, the thing, too, is where he is now may be cool, but he gets with the right
Hmm.
team,
Yep.
man, come on.
Well, I also heard you're producing a movie. Maybe there's soundtrack.
Yeah, no,
Boom,
no,
one thing that works, or he makes something for it. You scratch his back, you scratch his.
yeah,
Now he's got all of a sudden a track on a
dude.
major
If if
film.
if he came, listen, if he just came to a studio, and when we get to that point, I may invite him out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But like the deal's done.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like they were in Vancouver last week scouting for locations and talking to line producers over
yeah.
there. We got meetings next week with potential directors. Won't say their names, but yeah, dude.
But you know what's funny that what we just did, and this is
Mm,
what I love about being like an entrepreneur and
mm,
just having that mindset,
mm.
is we just took a conversation from the sauna and somebody who's passionate about something to an opportunity to get feedback to craft their skill, or an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to have a soundtrack, or
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to do something crazy.
Yeah,
And we did it just by being friends and
yeah.
being good people with no intention. We had not nowhere in there did we say, I wonder how much we can, you know what I mean?
Nah,
And then what's crazy about that is that's just that the way an entrepreneur thinks.
yeah, and you, it's I don't,
It's selfless. It's a
yeah.
selfless thought
You,
process.
you, my wife used to get on me, and I understand why, because she's from the outside looking in. We help all these people, and they screw you over. They do this and they do that. I'm like, babe, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll come back. Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold that. You know what I mean? I used to be bitter. You know what I mean? But it's like when you realize that you're the plug.
Yeah.
When you realize that you're the plug,
Yep.
nothing else matters because somebody's always watching. There's somebody watching my social media now going, I remember before Kurt got that red Chevy. I mean, I remember when Kurt was, I remember they're watching and they're watching and somebody's going to reach out to me. Someone's going to reach out to me, hey, Kurt. And I'm going to say, hey, they'll be like, man, dude, I got this call and they got this big ass budget and I thought of you. And I'm like, yeah, what is it? You know what I mean? If I can't do it, I'm going to call one of my friends and be like, yo, I ain't got the time to do this, but let me team up with you. We'll piggyback. I'll get the deal, but you got to do the work.
Yeah.
And we split up, we chop up the money kind of fairly or whatever. But it's, what was I saying, man?
I think
goddamn.
it's I think it's just about being good people, man, and connecting people with
Yeah.
not without being. And people get upset with me about it too. 'Cause they're like, "Dude, why are you taking so? You're fielding and doing so much that might not do anything."
Oh, I know where I was going with it, but I told my wife, I'm like, babe, we're gonna get blessed.
Yeah,
We're like, don't. I'm not. I don't even hold a grudge.
yeah,
With people, I feel like why hold a grudge? That person, for whatever reasons, did whatever they did, but I'm over it. Like,
yeah,
hey, I even simply say, hey, because that same person can still lead you to something else. To somebody else that may buy your product or may go see your movie or may
or,
whatever,
yeah,
you know what I mean, or may come to your gym or your place.
yeah.
So
I know we're getting a little close on
no,
time,
we'll knock it
but
out.
one of the things that I heard you kind of throw in there was your classic car,
Yeah,
and what I love about that too is the fact that I remember you telling me, you're like, one day I'm gonna have this badass car, man.
yeah,
I'm gonna have this thing, and blah blah blah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then what do you know?
That
Hard work
yeah, yeah,
developed. You end up
yeah.
having it.
That
Now you're
shit,
part of
man.
car clubs, and
Well, I'm not in the car club. I
okay,
run around with a crew. I run around
okay,
with a bunch of guys. I put like car. There's nothing wrong with car clubs, but like nothing wrong with nothing
okay,
wrong with car clubs. I I I've gotten so many opportunities with this car. You know what I mean? Like just being around the people I'm around. Um, it's coming out in a movie video of Queen Bee, Beyonce.
okay.
I was out one day. One of the old guys was like, "Hey, they're looking for some red cars. You want to be in a Beyonce video?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Hell yeah.
heck yeah!" I take my car to the Beyonce video.
We should
Get
have
it.
started this podcast with that. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, man. But I take it and it's in the video and then they pay me for an extra day. They pay me $1,000 a day to have my car set in the driveway,
Nice.
right? Yeah, and they say, don't take any pictures. No, you can't take. So I didn't take any pictures, but
Somebody
when it comes out, it's going to be really cool because my car's a celebrity. Then I got invited to something else. Kevin Hart has a muscle car show with a crew of guys that build cars. He wasn't there that day, but I took my car out. They unveiled the '69 Camaro Resto Mod they did or whatever. Hot to death, real cool. Met a bunch of people, but my car's in that episode whenever it comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw like a Netflix special or something like that. Like he bought a bunch of his best friends classic cars
for Christmas or something or
that's sick.
birthdays. Yeah. Dude, that was amazing, dude, to have your boys, man, have your boy, the guy who makes all the bread, but he has a team. So it just showed that he respected his team.
Yeah.
Like, yo, here, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's real big.
Well, I think again, we are kind of coming to a close here.
Yeah,
So I
just
want
knock it
to,
down.
but I think that's actually a perfect way to kind of end it, because I think what's interesting is he might be the face person and he might be the one who gets the money delivered into his bank account, but he doesn't forget the people who he's surrounded by that makes it happen, supports him, and gets the job done. And I think if more people realize that, look, everyone's not going to have the same monetary or, opportunity to be the face person, but if you are that person, you should be a little bit kinder to the people who have helped you get there.
Yeah.
And even if you don't end up getting to that specific stage, just in general, being a good person is never going to hurt you ultimately in the long run. You might get burned a couple times along the way. Some things might go south. Some people might not appreciate your relationships or what you do for them or understand when you say no. But the real people, that you just assist and are selfless with, eventually they're going to do the same thing for you.
Yeah.
You don't know when. And like you said, it could be years later, 20 years later, 10 years later, 5 years later, whatever it is. But no, that's real, man. That's authentic. And again, why don't you tell people where they can find you if they want to reach out?
Kurt Boogie, Strictly Business 96 at Instagram. Curtis Lee Jones Productions or Phoenix or JCF Phoenix Fund at LinkedIn. Let me see, Kurt Boogie at Facebook.
Okay.
Kurt Boogie at Facebook. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
Email, if you want to email me.
Probably the best.
Kurt.boogie@yahoo. CURT.BOOGIE@yahoo.
Get at your boy. He knows a
Get at
guy
your
who
boy.
knows a
Okay,
guy who knows a guy. Kurt, I love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
You're a good fucking human being. I'm
Thank
glad that this is the year of Kurt Boogie.
Oh yeah, all Kurt Boogie.
And hey, man, if you need somebody extra, throw me in one.
All Kurt Boogie, man.
Yeah.
Step up to the plate. Curtis Lee Jones Productions. JCF, Phoenix Salon Suites, Champions Village, Houston. Name Michelle brand.
Love it.
Natty by Nature. Beauty by Christina, all the things that I'm affiliated with this year, dude, I'm going to run it up. Thanks to anybody that helped me out in the past and is going to help me in the future. But just know, if you call me, if it's not about me, man, I can't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, get yours, dude. This is the year of Kurt Boogie. Like I said.
Kurt Boogie.
All right, brother. I love you, man.
Love you too, bro.